Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Attorney General, for being with us today. I'm the ranking member on the Senate Appropriations Committee for Homeland Security, and I've followed closely CISA's work to respond to and mitigate cyber breaches and the ransomware attacks. FBI Director Wray recently compared current ransomware threat to the threats of 9/11, and there is some debate from both Congress and the White House as to whether or not to ban outright, to ban private companies from paying ransom when they become victims of cyber attacks. As you know, this is an issue that we not just face here in the United States, but globally. So I asked the same question yesterday, wondering from the Secretary of State, and I'd like to hear your perspective. Are you working with our allies diplomatically to try, you know, in your, as Chief Law Enforcement Officer, in other countries to try to figure out how we, A, stop this, B, prevent it from happening again, and where you see this going in the next near future?
I'll start with the bottom question, which is not a happy answer, which is this is getting worse and worse, and we have to do everything we possibly can here. This is a very, very serious threat. You know, we saw what can happen with respect to a pipeline, with respect to a food processing company. You can imagine what could happen if we had multiple attacks at the same time on even more fundamental infrastructure. So I'm very worried about it, and so is the administration, and that's why we've asked for such a large increase in our cyber budget. That's also why the administration has stood up a full process on this question in the National Security Council, and that's why the Justice Department has stood up its own cybersecurity task force, and particularly focusing on ransomware. And as you acknowledge, we've already had one pretty significant success. One significant success is not really going to be enough. This has to be a constant, you know, just a constant focus. And in each future year, it's going to require more money. We think we have the right amount of money now, but fair warning, we're going to be coming back for more money after this. On the other question, specific question you asked about diplomatic, yes. So one advantage of a sad situation of the pandemic is that I'm able to meet with attorneys general and home secretaries without having to travel to many different countries. And in my first few weeks, that is what I did, and I met with our four closest allies, and I also met with the EU, each of the EU members, and I also communicated by telephone separately with a number of our allies on this question, among others. So this is top of mind, I assure you.
Well, we certainly want to be extremely supportive of you and your efforts, of the Homeland Security as well, and the Department of State, because I think what you've told us is what we all feel, that we are very, very concerned about this. I'm going to switch topics here. Since the passage of the Fix NICS Act, which I was a proud co-sponsor of, we've seen continuous increases in the number of background checks run through the NICS system. In fact, this year we've seen record-breaking numbers of checks run, with some months reaching over 4 million. Those background checks are done in Senator Manchin, our home state of West Virginia. We're very proud of the effort that we're doing there and the way we're contributing. What steps will your department take to support the NICS system and ensure that we are enforcing background check laws that are already on the books? And what are the funding needs to, from time to time, we've really upped the funding here. Is that I looked through your thing to see if there was something about that in your budget request, and I would invite you to visit the facility in West Virginia. It's quite something to see.
Just trying to get the number for the NICS system. First of all, you're absolutely right. This is essential to the fight against violent crime and against gun violence. We have to keep guns away from people who are legally not permitted to have guns, which is the purpose of this system. And also, of course, it helps us to, when a bad event occurs, to find if somebody has violated the law in obtaining a gun. So included in the anti-gun violence programs are state and local grants of $421 million, including NICS, which is an increase in 62%. Wow. So your concern about this is the same as our concern. We couldn't be more in line.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Madam Chair.
Thank you